guys, welcome back to my channel. Here we have with us Marlene Smith and Janita is here. Hey Malu.
Hey Father.
Alright, this evening we are going to talk about the history of our school, which is St. Rose de Lima Catholic School. Malu is expert on the history of the school, so let's see Malu. Alright Malu, let's start with Malu.
Well, St. Rose de Lima was established way back in the early 20s. I would say right after the church was built.
Okay.
But the students were going to school already.
Okay.
Over at St. Joseph's on 2nd Street. That was my grandparents, my mama, and that group. And then after the Sisters of St. Joseph's were taking care of just our students, the black students. And after they couldn't do it anymore, they reached out, the SVD priests reached out to the Holy Spirit Missionary Sisters to come and start the school for the black children here at St. Rose de Lima. And that's how we came. I came to school here in, it was about 55, 56, I would think, and started my first grade here.
So were you the first group or?
The first group that I remember in my class, there was an old wooden building in the Sisters Convent where our Holy Spirit Center is.
Okay.
And that's where I can remember us going to lunch, and that was the high school was there.
So what did you have for lunch back then, Malu?
Beans and rice.
All right. Cornbread. Oh my gosh, nothing wrong with cornbread. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember us going to eat lunch there and to go to recess in the gym. We had a little gym they called the Cracker Box.
Oh wow!
I think it was the smallest gym on the coast.
Wow!
But schools didn't travel here to play in the Cracker Box, and it became quite well known as the Cracker Box.
So who was your first principal back then when they started?
From what I remember, my first principal that I remember was Sister Leonardine.
That's the Holy Spirit nun?
The Holy Spirit Sisters.
Awesome.
Yes, Sister Leonardine. I remember the teachers who taught me. Sister Marie Angela Reese was my first grade teacher, and it was in the school building behind this one.
Okay.
Sister is 97 years old, and she just turned 97.
Is she still alive?
She is.
Oh, wow!
And not only that, she came to our 50th class reunion. And she just celebrated a birthday on the 14th of November. And I was in touch with her.
Awesome.
Today.
Okay. So, were they wearing their habits back then, or?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
In the summer, they wore white habits.
Okay.
During the winter months, they wore the navy blue, dark blue habits. And we always enjoyed being around the sisters and being in their presence. And that's where I'm almost certain that I got the idea that I wanted to become a Holy Spirit sister as well.
Okay. Awesome. Malu, if I could ask, what was the subject that they taught you back then?
Oh, they did all of the subjects. They taught us CCD, religion, for sure. They taught us math, English, science, social studies, all of those subjects that you would get in the primary grades. They taught us, and they were excellent sisters and teachers because they all had master's and doctor's degrees.
Were they tough back then?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get your knuckles cracked if you didn't.
Oh my gosh.
I was a good girl. I never had to get whipped. I had to stand in the corner though because I used to come late to school.
Really?
Yeah, I was always late, especially when it was cold, because I would always get frostbitten fingers in the cold, because it was bitter cold back then, way back in those days. It's not nearly as cold as it was then. But the sisters, let's see, when we came to the 9th grade,
Okay.
Sister James was our principal.
So you started from the what? From the first grade up to what?
Up to 12, went through 12.
Up to 12, okay.
And the sisters, right where your office is and Janita's office is, was our chemistry lab.
Oh, okay.
We had our science and chemistry classes there. Then we had home economics
Okay.
and typing in the little room where Head Start has their office now.
Okay.
And we had social studies and history, English. 9th grade was that room where Joan Thomas's CCD classes are now,
Okay.
religious ed. That was my 9th grade class.
Okay. Janita with us today. Janita, would you mind tell us about how tough the nuns were when they taught you?
Oh wow.
No, the good things that you remember about the nuns back then when they taught you.
As far as I can remember, I remember being on the playground, the nuns teaching us different songs. We would also try to learn piano from Sister Bernice Finsky and Sister Carmela. She was there with us. I'll never forget Sister Aldemar. She was the disciplinarian.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like Malu say, she was from Germany. So if you would get in trouble, and Malu was a saint, but I can't say that I was, and I would get into trouble. And whenever we got called to her office, we knew it
that
was,
you're in trouble.
We knew we were in trouble. She would tell you to hold your knuckles, and she would take that ruler, and it was a while before you had to go back to her office again because you didn't want Sister Audemars to whip you.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you, Janita. Thank you. So, Malu, why was that the SSPS nuns that were called to serve this school, not the different religious sisters?
I think that the sisters, the Holy Spirit sisters, were called here because what they were doing under the St. Joseph sisters was just busy work.
Okay.
Cleaning up, scrubbing floors, sweeping, and doing all the labor instead of getting an education.
I see.
Whenever they sat down to a desk, it was just busy work. And then the parents must have taken concern with the fact that they weren't learning as they should. So the priest from St. Augustine Seminary summoned the Holy Spirit sisters here.
Okay.
And that's when they started with their program. And the numbers were small in the very beginning, but as word got around, the parents started sending their children to St. Rose.
All right. Okay, tell me about this school. Was primarily built for certain group or what?
This school was built primarily for the black students in our community who attended St. Rose de Lima.
Okay. All right. Next one is up to what year this school was closed due to any reasons or?
Okay. Early in the 1960s, they joined the schools together.
I see.
This campus, St. Rose de Lima campus, and Bay Catholic campus. They said because it was too expensive to run two campuses. So of course, this was the school that had to be shut down and merge the students from here to over there. We had all of lots and lots of equipment, learning materials, which were transferred from here to over there.
Okay.
The teachers who taught here had to transfer over there, and they said it was because of lack of funds. And who was our priest for the
For the moment, Malu, the last question. Okay. So, what is the best memory that you could still remember from the nuns that taught you? The best memories that you can cherish for the rest of your life taught by the nuns.
There were so many, there were so many memories that the sisters ingrained in us and helped us to try to remember to take into our adult lives. When we were high school students here, we put on plays. The sisters had us in a choral group. We also had a glee club. We sang every Wednesday. We'd go to mass and we'd sing. They taught us all of the songs in our little missalette and our little not a missalette. It was our prayer book, we called it. And those were good and happy days.
Awesome.
We in our junior and senior year, we'd always put on a play, and they just brought us through the gamut.
All right.
On Fridays during Lent, we had the Stations of the Cross, and everybody would march over to the church and do the stations, and those were good memories that we are still trying to hold on to today. The stations and Christmas and everything, they just brought us through it.
All
through
right.
the whole gamut of Catholic education.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Malu, for the brief history of the St. Rose de Lima Catholic Church that right now is used by our Head Start. So thank you so much, Malu.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Janita, tell us about the best memories that you could cherish that you were taught by those nuns of the Holy Spirit sisters that you could still remember.
I remember Sister Bernice and Sister Aldemara and Sister Carmela, instilling in us the importance of being a church, giving back, and just all of the good things about being a great Catholic. And they almost had me.
Really?
I really thought at some point that I wanted to be a nun when I was smaller. I would always hang out with them, and it was so convenient because I lived here close to the campus. So I would always hang out with them and do after school programs with Sister Dulcinea. And but the most thing was just learning about our Catholic faith.
All right.
You know.
All right. Thank you, Janita. All right.